Another beep, that's all I was asking.
Yeah, it's good.
So excited.
Checklist on the inside, so I'll go ahead and grab the checklist, and then we usually check the fuel first and the oil first, so in case we need to get fuel or oil while we're finishing our pre-flight, we can have the fuel truck come and top it off for us. Kind of helps with time management.
Sour.
Excited?
Yeah. I got me a drink though, because normally like sugary stuff helps, like in case I start shaking from anxiety, it stops that normally fast. I thought he lost power for a second.
Come in here, and this is our this is what we take a fuel sample with, and we just check to see if there's any contaminants in the fuel. I know this plane has fuel, I just flew it, so I'll just kind of walk through a normal pre-flight. So just checking our flaps here to make sure that they're nice and secure for us. Go around and check our ailerons as well, make sure that they're not binding up or anything weird there. And then there's a little rod here that we want to make sure has just a little bit of movement, and that there's a nut on the end of that bolt. And then come over here, and it's a good idea to just give the wing a little bit of a shake here, just to make sure that it's nice and secure on there. Checking all these screws, make sure we're not missing any. Got a couple of inspection panels here. Checking to make sure that all of those screws are in. And then I guess I will have to have a talk with my student about tying these. I guess he doesn't know how to tie these now. And we have a fuel vent right here. We want to make sure that that is not plugged up. And then our fuel sump is right here. And we just take our fuel sumper.
Oh, it's blue.
Yeah. Make sure it's not dripping. Also check our tire, make sure it's got plenty of tread, it's got air. We got sufficient brake pad. We're not leaking any brake fluid. And we've still got a little bit of strut left there. Brakes.
Yeah.
And, as you notice, it's blue. The 100 low lead avgas is blue. And any water would appear on the bottom. It would look like a bubble on the bottom, and then any debris would be floating. So it looks like we've got a good...
Water's heavier?
Yep, water's heavier than fuel, so it'll sink down to the bottom, and you'll see like kind of like a bubble on the bottom. Or if there's a lot, then you would see
a whole layer.
A whole layer.
Yes, I've seen some videos of that, and then they could get all mad when that happens. I understand why though.
Yeah.
Water's not good inside of a fuel tank.
Exactly, and sometimes it has to do with the fuel caps, and it'll rain, and if they're not secure, or maybe the seal is broken, when it rains, water will get into the fuel. So really need to make sure that we do the fuel sumps after it rains. So if we look in here, this tab down here, if it's at the tab, that means we have 17 gallons of fuel. Okay,
that's it.
Yeah, will only burn probably about let's see, we'll probably burn at most 10 gallons of fuel.
Jeez.
And then we'll keep a little reserve, so it would be at least 15 gallons for today's flight for our 30 minutes of reserve. We've got 17 in this tank, so we've already got enough fuel, and we also have another fuel.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
one on each way.
we got plenty of fuel. Checking to make sure that our cowling is nice and secure here. This is where we would check our oil. Okay. And we want to see at least 5 quarts. So the 4 is down there, the 6 is here. And it looks like it's just above 5 quarts, so that'll work. And I know there's a little sloshed up in there just since I flew the plane, so we've got plenty of oil. And it's not like a car engine to where I should say it's not abnormal for it to burn a little oil. We're kind of constantly every 10 hours or so adding a quart of oil is kind of typical.
Sounds like my car.
And then got some strut on the nose wheel and plenty of tread. Checking our propeller to make sure that it's not there's not any real bad nicks or cracks or anything. So it's in pretty good shape. Our alternator belt is right here, making sure that's secure, it's tight. Checking all of our screws in here and our spinner.
Hey, good seeing you. I didn't think I would see you again.
Alright, checking the side of the
Never
propeller.
hear from you anymore.
Looks good. And then our air inlet here. That is where the air goes to the engine, making sure that there's not a bird's nest or something like that in there. Alright, that all looks good. Keep walking around here. These are nice and secure. Got all of our screws. And then this is our fuel strainer sump, so we can sump here as well. Comes out a little bit slower.
A strainer, is that like a filter?
Yeah. Yeah, just like a strainer, just to take out any big.
You can hear the difference in the engine power. Whoa.
And our vent is clear. You get this tied out as well.
Got one for headphones, one for microphone. This plane probably costs about as much as a small house.
Nice and blue avgas. Not seeing much for debris. And no water in there. And then here it looks like we've got about 18 gallons on this side, so about 35 gallons total, more than enough fuel for us, and we won't have any issues taking off today. How we get our airspeed.
That's what I thought.
Our altimeter and our vertical speed indicator is going to be through that pitot vane there. This is for our stall warning horn. So when it usually sits like this, when the tap goes up, we'll hear a little horn sound in the engine or in the inside the plane, and it'll tell us that we're getting close to stalling the aircraft. And that's not it's not an engine stall; it's a wing stall. So what happens is you pitch up too high, you exceed what's called the critical angle of attack, and then the nose kind of drops. So we're not going to do any stalls today unless you guys want to. I imagine no.
And not yet.
No.
Stuff you gotta practice.
Yeah. The wings are so light. It's insane how easy this thing is to move.
I'll probably be sitting in the back seat today, so I'll have you hop in first. I'll kind of show you how to move the seat.
There's only one door.
Maybe move those bags or those folders too and set them on the seat. You might be able to spread your kind of legs out a little bit more.
Forgot there's only one door.
Yeah, one door.
Not a Cessna.
If you want to hop in the left seat.
So crawl through. Oh, there it goes.
Camera.
Yeah.
Let me hold your drink.
There's the handle.
Yeah, they're a little tight.
Yeah.
Alright, got my headset here.
Closer to the instruments than I thought I'd be.
Yeah, and then you also have a little, it's called a storm window is what they call it. If you want to open that, we can try and get as much airflow in here as we can.
Pigeon windows in the truck.
Yeah.
One window that people make the mistake of sticking their phone out of.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen on the internet. What kind of things?
So if you need to adjust your seat, there's a lever here on the bottom. You can move it forward or backwards.
Like a car.
Yeah. It looks like you might be sitting a little far forward.
Yeah, because I can barely.
Yeah.
Dad, you want to move
You've got plenty of room.
Yeah. Alrighty. To
There
reach
we
the
go.
rudder pedal is fine. and
What's the
then,
top ones?
The tops is the brakes.
Oh, okay.
So
Like wheel
the
brakes, right?
Yep, it's brakes on the wheels. Remember, we were checking the brake pads there?
Yeah.
So if we push the top, it actuates those brake pads and helps us slow down.
So the brakes are individually controlled?
Yep, right brake, left brake, and that'll help us with turning.
Yeah.
And then our seat belts, it's just a
Normal seatbelt.
normal
School bus seat belt.
Yep, just fastens across your lap, and we'll make sure that we're wearing our seat belts at all times, of course. For airflow, we've got a little vent down. I have a vent here. There should be one on your side as well. And then
Here, this little black thing?
yeah, that'll be an air vent. So once we get moving, we'll get some airflow.
Yeah.
You have two down here. There should be one right there is an air vent and one over here.
Yep.
They should be open. If they're not open, there's that lever that you can move to open them. All right, and then of course the door is going to be our exit.
Yeah.
And then for our headsets, we plug these in.
Can you make sure the camera's still going? Can you make sure the camera's still going?
It is.
Like, I mean, like angle-wise.
Not unless you turn it off. It's good.
No, I mean, like it's like at the right angle still. Okay, because I dropped it. Remember?
So
I can't check it on the phone unless it gets turned off. So.
Oh.
with the headset, yours will plug in right here and here. One of the plugs is bigger than the other one, so it'll only fit in one way. Yours should be somewhere back there.
There we go.
Oh yeah, it's right here. One is bigger than the other, so it'll only fit in one way. And then once I get the plane started, I'll turn the avionics and we'll be able to talk to each other with our headsets.
They're so easy to move.
Yeah. You guys have any questions for me before we get started?
Not really. Well,
Alrighty.
like, are we going like over any water at all?
Yeah, maybe a little bit if you want to. We can, typically we'll take off out of here, head up towards Anclote. I see we do have a couple of clouds up towards Anclote, so we might not make it all the way up to Anclote.
wow.
But we'll work that way, and then we'll come back down the beach, and then we'll come back over here. If you'd like to fly today, I'll take the takeoff. Once we get above 1,000 feet, I'll give you your flight, give you the flight controls, and you can just get a feel for it, see how it feels. You can do just some gentle bank turns, maybe a couple climbs and descents, things like that. I have no issues with that. And then if for any reason, maybe I see something and I say my controls, just let go, alrighty? And then, alrighty, so we'll get it started here. So turning the master on, turning our beacon on, make sure Rich beacon is on.
Oh, there's everything else popping up.
Yep.
Still uses the basic car key to turn it on.
Yep, so I'll prime the engine here, so I'll turn the fuel pump on and pump the throttle a couple times. Fuel pump off. Throttle a little bit. Clear. Alrighty. Set my throttle to about 1,000, and I want to check my oil pressure, that's either in the green or just below the green.
Yeah, it's like right at 60.
Yep, so that'll be perfect. And we can see our oil temp, this engine's still nice and warm for us. Now we're getting good fuel pressure, and then these are for our fuel tanks. We can see that we have fuel on the left and right. Go ahead and lean the mixture. This is just it's changing the fuel to air mixture to the engine. And then I can turn our avionics on. Now we can talk to each other on the headsets.
Rudder control, right? This is all rudder control, right?
Yep, it's all with my feet right now. So use the bottom of the rudder to